good day, everyone. It's 7:04 on my clock, and I have two attendees in this meeting. So let me ask first. So, how are you today? Yes, Miss Angel, how's your day?
Good evening, sir. I am very fine and I hope you are very well too.
Oh, thank you, Angel. How about you, Mr. Aaron?
Good evening, sir. I am very well. I'm doing great, and that's it. Po.
I'm happy to know that you two are doing well today. So, before we start the meeting, let me ask first: is my audio clear on your end?
Yes, po, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how about the presentation and also my video? Is it clear on your end?
Also, yes, sir.
Thank you for the confirmation. So before we start our discussion for today, let us have a recap. So what have we discussed from our previous lesson? May I ask Miss Angel?
Sir, last meeting we have discussed about the if I remember the quantity phrases that describes specific quantities po.
So can you enumerate those quantity phrases?
Quantity phrases just like some, a few, and lots of.
Okay, very good. Um, how about you, Mr. Aaron? So what have you remembered that what have you remembered in our previous discussion?
Sir. Also, in our previous discussion, we have also discussed about quantity phrases that describe adequacy.
So can you enumerate those quantity phrases that um, indicates adequacy?
Um, these phrases are enough, not enough, too many, and too much. Po.
Okay, so very good. So I'm happy that you remembered the topics that we have on the previous meeting. So for today's discussion, we will be tackling another set of quantity phrases, and those are quantity phrases that compare different quantities. So this is comprised by the following quality phrases: more, fewer, and less. So, is everyone ready for our discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So, with that, let us press start and continue our journey. So, in the land of filled with candies, so we have Vanellope and also we have Francis. Now, Vanellope has a bag of sweets and she has this much of candies. Now, Rancis only have this amount of candies. Now, I want you to compare their candies. So, is there anyone who would like to try comparing their candies? Yes, Mr. Aaron.
Based on the slide, Vanellope has more candies than Rancis.
Okay, so Vanellope has more candies than Rancis. So, based from Mr. Aaron's response, the comparison focused on Vanellope's candies. Now, let us shift the focus into Rancis. So, what will be the comparison if the focus of the sentence is about Rancis? Can we hear from Miss Angel?
Yes, sir. As I can see in the screen, Francis has fewer candies than Vanellope.
So now we have heard another comparison. On the first sentence, we have heard from Mr. Aaron that Vanellope has more candies than Rancis, while on the second comparison, states that Rancis has fewer candies than Vanellope. So both of them are correct because, as we can see on the slide, um, Penelope obviously has more candies compared to Rancis, and vice versa, where Rancis has fewer candies than Penelope. So, very good. Next, let's proceed on the kitchen where Tafita and her friend Candlehead is having a meal. So, let's see what they are eating on the table. I want you again to compare now, the cupcakes that Candlehead and Tafita have. So, can we hear from Miss Angel first the comparison?
I'll go in the focus of Candlehead. As we can see, Candlehead has fewer cupcakes than Taffeta.
Okay, so Miss Angel decided to focus first on the amount of cupcakes that Candlehead has. So, Candlehead has fewer cupcakes than Tafita. So it's correct because she only has two. Now let's focus on Tafita. Can you compare Tafita's cupcakes to Candlehead? Um, let's hear from Mr. Aaron.
Sir Tafita has more cupcakes than Candlehead.
So now we have heard another comparison from Mr. Aaron where he stated that Tafita has more cupcakes than Candlehead. So the both of your comparisons are correct. So obviously, Tafita has some more cupcakes than Candlehead, and meanwhile, Candlehead has fewer cupcakes than Tafita. Now let's have another scenario. Now on the racetrack, we have Winter Pop. So Winter Pop decided to um go around the Candyland. So now he have this amount of gasoline. Now he starts his journey. Now he have reached the Rainbow Road, but then the amount of the gasoline that he has changed. So now I want you to compare again the amount of gasoline that he have now compared earlier. So let's hear from Mr. Aaron.
Sir, based on the slide, Winter Pop had less gasoline po after driving or as
So,
compared earlier.
okay. So why have you decided to use um less instead of fewer? Because earlier I only hear you using fewer. So now you decided to use less. So I'm curious why.
Sir, because um gasoline is uncountable noun. Thus I use the word less or the quantity word less po in describing the amount of the gasoline that Winter Pop had after driving.
Oh, so I see that you are paying attention with the details of the nouns being involved on the context. So I love your observance there. So now, after we have these examples, I would like to proceed with the discussion proper on when are we going to use these quantity phrases in comparing different quantities. So let us first discuss the quantity phrase more. So more is used to show that there is a greater quantity or amount of something. It is used when it is used with both countable and uncountable nouns. So earlier, I have heard you stating these sentences. So Vanellope has more candies than Rancis, and Tafita has more cupcakes than Candlehead. So when you observe these um, nouns or objects rather, you can see that there is difference in terms of their quantities. Vanellope has more candies, while Tafita has more cupcakes. So it's a very good job for everyone for uh, proper comparison. Now let's proceed with the quantity phrase fewer. Now, fewer is used to show that there is a smaller quantity or amount or something. That's an error on the PowerPoint. Fewer belongs with plural countable nouns. So, all I have heard from you that you use fewer in comparing their candies and also their cupcakes. So, I have heard you saying these sentences. So Candlehead has fewer cupcakes than Taffeta, and Rancis has fewer candies than Vanellope. So it is also correct because if we observe the objects being involved in the context, so we are talking about countable nouns because we have cupcakes and also we have candies. Now let's proceed with our last quantity phrase, which is less. So less is also used to show that there is a smaller quantity or amount. However, less is used when dealing with plural uncountable nouns. So on the previous meeting, we have also discussed the difference between countable and uncountable nouns. So let me enumerate again some of uncountable nouns such as sugar, flour, water, milk, and any similar objects to those what I have stated. So from our example earlier, so from the gasoline that Winter Pop has, we can say that Winter Pop has less gasoline compared earlier because based from the rule, less is used when we are talking about um, uncountable nouns. Now, since we have learned how to properly use these quantity phrases, let's put it into practice. Now, we have reached the kingdom and we have the characters Felix and Ralph. Now, I want you to pay attention into the medals that were awarded to them by the king of the Candyland. Now, as you can observe, there are two sets of medals. There are gold medals and there are silver medals. Now, we will be comparing them side by side. So, first, let us focus on the quantities of the gold medals that Felix and Ralph obtained. So, can someone compare the gold medals that Felix and Ralph obtained? Let us hear from Miss Angel.
Felix has more gold medals than Ralph.
So, for our first comparison from Miss Angel, Felix has more gold medals than Ralph because obviously, um, Felix has one, two, three, and four gold medals, while Ralph only has one. So, can we hear another comparison from Mr. Aaron?
Sir, if I will focus naman po with Ralph. Ralph has fewer gold medal than Felix po.
So, from Mr. Aaron, we have heard that the comparison will focus more on Ralph. So, if Ralph will be the basis of comparison, then we could say that Ralph has fewer gold medals than Felix because obviously we can only see that Ralph has one while Felix have four. So, very good. Now, let us proceed with um, comparing their silver medals. Now, can someone compare now the silver medals that they have gained? Yes, Miss Angel.
Sir, I will focus on Ralph's silver medal. I think Ralph has more silver medals than Felix.
From the focus that um, from Ralph's focus, we have heard from Miss Angel that Ralph has more silver medals than Felix because it is shown on the screen. Ralph has four silver medals while Felix only has two. Now let's shift the comparison into Felix and his silver medals. So can you compare now? Yes, Mr. Aaron.
Having Felix as the focus, um,
So it seems like Aaron was disconnected. So Angel, can you help Aaron?
Yes, of course, sir. Um, if we will focus on Felix silver medal, um, then Felix has fewer silver medals than Ralph.
Okay. So now Felix as the focus of the comparison, our sentence will be Felix has fewer silver medals than Ralph because as we can see, Felix only have two medals while Ralph has four. So very good. So now let us focus on the overall medals that Felix and Ralph has obtained. So could someone compare them? Yes, Mr. Aaron.
having Felix as the focus, based on the slide, Felix has more medals than Ralph.
Okay, so Felix as the focus of comparison states that Felix has more medals compared to Ralph. So which is correct because as we can see, Felix has six medals overall compared to Ralph's five medals. So let us shift the focus to Ralph.
Sir, I'll try to answer that one.
Okay, go Miss Angel.
So, in overall, Ralph, Ralph has fewer medals than Felix.
Okay, so according to Miss Angel, if we focus on Ralph, we can say that Ralph has fewer medals compared to Felix, as Ralph only has five, while Felix has six. So very good. So all of your comparisons are correct and follows the rules that we have discussed earlier. So now let us see the next photos. So on the first photo, we can see that Ralph is assembling a house with his friend. Now, at the same time, Felix also built houses. Now, I want you to compare the number of houses that Felix and Ralph built. So, can I hear a comparison? Let's hear from Miss Angel.
Compared to Ralph, Felix built more houses than Ralph.
So, Felix, as the focus of the comparison, it seems that Felix has built more houses compared to Ralph because, as we can see on the photo, um, Felix has built this can we call them apartment? So those are houses. So compared only to this bunkhouse sort of house. So let's make now Ralph the focus of comparison. So would you compare Ralph's number of houses compared to Felix? Yes, Mr. Aaron.
Having Ralph as the focus po, it's obviously that I mean it's obvious that Ralph built fewer house than Felix because Ralph um um has only built one house as compared to Felix who built many houses.
So very good, Mr. Aaron. As we can see, Ralph only has one and Felix has this many. So with that, we have reached the end of our discussion. Are there any questions or any clarifications?
None, sir.
How about you, Miss Angel?
Sir, I just want to clear something. Is the quantity phrase less is used in uncountable nouns, sir, right?
Yes, it is correct that less is used when we are comparing uncountable nouns. So when we talk about uncountable nouns, so those are nouns that cannot be easily counted, such as water, sugar, sand, flour, and any similar objects to those what I have enumerated.
Okay, sir. I was just confused with the term less and fewer if I use less in countable nouns or not, but it's already clearer now. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so before I end the discussion, so let me have a recap of our today's lessons about quantity phrases that are used in comparing quantities. We have more, which can be used for both countable and uncountable nouns, fewer, which is used for countable nouns, and less for uncountable nouns. So, with that, I would like to thank everyone for attending today's meeting. I hope you have learned something from our lesson. So, thank you and have a great day ahead.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Good evening.